Hey, here we go. Another one today. Look at my new setup. This hat matches my shirt. I like that, right? Hey, I got a cool comment. So, man, I can't thank you guys enough. I get a lot of comments. I love YouTube for that. It's a very interactive platform, so much more than the others where I might get a lot of likes on some of the other platforms, but there's no interaction. And I guess YouTube is the best platform for real interaction. So for all y'all that interact with my posts, man, I really appreciate that and make comments. Thanks so much. Anyway, this one is for Rick and Sharon Blumenthal. I hope I'm saying your name right. They asked, or Rick asked, or the collective account asked, how to less abruptly stop a line or a phrase or even a note. And that's a great question because, you know, I'm sure many of you out there have been playing for a long time, but also for the new folks, if you are playing this type of an instrument, there's so many subtleties to how you play that you probably don't even think about. So this question prompted me to think about this, and I'm like, wow, I have no idea. And I'm going to show you why I have no idea, because even when I play without effects and without going through any kind of the audio gear that I have for the recordings, I guess over the years I've just developed a breath control to where I gently fade the notes out without even thinking about it. It's just the way that I play. And in fact, it's inverted for me where I'd have to deliberately use my tongue to cut off the air to have a chopped end. So let me demonstrate a little bit. I'll play a couple things with some phrasing, and you'll hear how, I mean, there's no effects at all. This is just going right into my phone, these recordings. So that's why they sound so terrible, by the way. But yeah, you'll hear that it just fades out. I think to some degree, I use a little bit of vibrato as well to kind of maybe mask that. But, you know, I'll also try it on a trumpet because I feel like the Flugelhorn, being as big and canonical as it is and fluffy, it's a lot easier to do this than it would be on a trumpet, but let's put that to the test. So let me play this on the trumpet or the flugel and see what we got. Let me see what it sounds like. I mean, that's how I played that line on Beaches and Dreams. Did it sound like I faded it out? Because I think I subconsciously just very gently and subtly reduced the amount of air as I'm using a bit of vibrato at the tail end of a line. So let me see if I can play something where it's really obvious that I'm not doing that. So that I went and stopped it with my tongue. Yeah, I'm just gently reducing the amount of air I'm pushing through the horn. And I guess I've done it for so long that it's become like a natural part of how I play everything. And that's a really good thing to point out, is that the more you play, even if you're playing nonsense and you're not doing like Clark studies or Arbin things, and you're not doing the core classical stuff that, I mean, truthfully, if you want to be a professional, you got to do that stuff. But if you're just having fun like me, or you do recordings like me that are just, whatever comes out, and that's your style, then this will apply to you. You just have to do this stuff so it becomes muscle memory, right? And that's true of probably every instrument. Even scales, things like that, people are jamming through runs because they don't have to think about the technique anymore. It just happens. And then that allows your mind to be creative and kind of lead you in a way when you're soloing or doing something unique to give you that personal style or flair to your sound and to your approach, right? So for me, I don't have to really pay attention to some of these things, like the vibrato I don't pay attention to. The attack I don't pay attention to, and the release I'm finding I also don't pay attention to. So I'm really focusing, honestly, my ear is paying attention mostly to being in tune. That's, I think, what I spend a good amount of my focus on. And quite frankly, I know we're going into uncharted territory here and this wasn't asked, but when it comes to what I'm playing, I have no idea what I'm doing there. It is just as whatever comes out, and I'll play through something, again, the muscle memory, I'll play through something a bunch of times So I'll play write a new tune in the studio, and as I come up with a melody, sometimes they just happen, and the first run through is like, oh, that's it, and I got it. And then there are other times where I have something, but I have to play it probably 100 or more times until I get what I want. And that's why they come out so good, is because, and Tom Petty said this too, and a lot of musicians from yesteryear have said this, that, the album sounds so good because they played the whole thing live in the studio. And anytime there was a problem, they had to just start over. They didn't do like cutting and pasting and punching in until later on. And then obviously now with things in the computer age, you can do everything that way. But there's a lot to be said for just playing the thing until you can play it right and perfectly every time, because you get that comfort with playing it that you don't get with punching it in. Now, I'll argue that you can get some really unique stuff by cutting up lines and making them in ways that you never have perhaps thought to play them. So that's a cool creative way to do it too. But at the same time, being a musician and carrying musicianship with it, the idea of playing over and over and over and over and over until you get something so that it's just, you don't even have to think about it. Like some of the lines that I play, I play them all the time. Like not that one, but like this one, for example. I mean, I've played that thing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, the whole thing through, so where it changes, it goes up a half step, comes back down, and then plays that little interlude thing at the end. I've played that over and over and over, and it really just started with that very first thing. And then I'm like, let me steal from Miles Davis' idea, and I'll go with Some Kind of Blue, and he just took this, and then the next line is a half step up, then down, right? So that's what I did. I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. So I'll just do that like this, right? Half step. Get it right? So yeah, I don't know. Try that stuff, see what you think. But in my opinion, the way I end these notes so that they don't sound so abrupt is I very gently lay off and let out less air as I'm kind of holding the note out. So hope that helps. Thanks for the comment.